guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a standing cake. At first I was kind of confused because I would see these beautiful cakes like all over Instagram and I didn't know what it was called. But recently I've been seeing more hashtags that says standing cake because I thought it was like a semi cake or like a half cake. But like I said, I've been seeing more hashtags that says standing cake. So that's what we're going to create today. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can, but this is going to be a step-by-step tutorial from start to finish to show you how I make this cake. And I am wearing black today because my cake is going to be black. Oh my goodness. I love black cakes. They just do something for me, let me tell you. So let's get right into this beautiful cake, guys. So I'm going to be using 2 8-inch rounds of my moist vanilla cake. Next, I'm going to trim off the top of my cake just to level it out and make sure everything is nice and flat and even. This is an essential step in any cake that you make. Oh my goodness, this cake is so moist. Yes. Next, I'm going to grab some of my vanilla buttercream frosting and I'm just going to place a dab on the cake board. This is just to hold the cake in place while I decorate. Once you have your cake placed in the center of the board, go ahead and start adding your frosting for your first layer. I want to add that you can use up to 3 layers of cake to make this particular cake. I only use 2 because this video is for recording and training purposes, so yeah. Now we're just going to smooth our frosting out once we feel like we have the correct frosting to cake ratio. Very important. Get that nice and smooth and flat, and then we're going to add our next layer of cake. Notice that this top layer of cake also I trimmed off the top, but I flipped it upside down because the bottom of the cake is flatter than the top of it. So I want my cake to be flat and even. Once my top layer of cake is meshed with my bottom layer of cake, it's nice and even, I'm going to crumb coat it. This is very important also for any cake that you do. It's going to lock in all of the crumbs. So a quick tip for crumb coating the cake, it's much easier and smoother if you use a softer version of the frosting that you originally used. So if you take your frosting and you mix it with a little bit of milk, or you even microwave it for a little bit just so it gets smoother, it works wonders. Now that I'm done crumb coating, I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the refrigerator so it can firm up. To know if your crumb coat is ready, you should be able to touch it and there's no frosting coming off, it's firm. Now I'm going to go in with my black buttercream, which I have just used food coloring. I will provide a link down below so you can see where to buy it. I love this particular food gel because I don't have to keep adding a whole bunch of food coloring for it to get black. It just gets black. I love it. Once the top of my cake is nice and even, I'm going to start by frosting the sides. Once my entire cake is covered, I'm going to clean off the excess frosting around the cake, those little bits right there. If you don't clean it off now, it will make a bigger mess on your board when you go to smooth out the cake. Now I'm just going to smooth my cake out with one of my mini cake scrapers. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a few crevices that haven't quite been filled in, so I'm just going to go in with some more frosting and fill those in and go around the cake one more time with my cake scraper. Once my cake is completely frosted, I'm going to pop it in the refrigerator to let the frosting firm up. I really personally love sharp edges on my cakes. So once I take it out of the refrigerator, the buttercream frosting is nice and firm to where you can literally just cut the excess off the top and it will literally give you a nice sharp edge. Let's see if I can get a closer angle for you guys. Now to do this, you can use an offset spatula as I'm using, or you can use a regular knife. And as you can see, the buttercream just comes right off. It's a total game changer. Once all the excess buttercream is gone, you can go ahead and just smooth out the top. So I totally hate that the top of the cake looks kind of patchy. It's because of the lighting. But anywho, this is what you're left with, a sharp edge smooth cake. Let's go ahead and take our serrated knife and I'm going to cut off the bottom layer of the cake. Obviously it's round, so, and you can pick any bottom you want, but I would say it's about a third or fourth of the cake that we're gonna cut off. So I'm just gonna make a line so I can show you guys real quick. So this is exactly where I'm gonna cut, and I'm just gonna cut it straight down. There's something just so satisfying about cutting a cake open. Like, it's just, doesn't it look yummy? Next, I'm just gonna take a paper towel and wipe off the excess frosting off of the board, just to ensure everything's nice and clean. Now for this step, you wanna be extra careful. I'm just gonna take my knife and slide it under my cake until it's completely off the board, and I'm gonna place it on another board, bottom side down. Now I'm going doing extra steps, you know, cleaning my board and stuff, when really I could have just used another board, but whatever, I'm gonna make it work. Next, I'm just gonna take a little bit of my black buttercream, and I'm just gonna spread like a line, which is like the shape of the bottom of the cake, in order to make it stick to the board. And while my cake is cold, I'm just gonna go ahead and place the bottom of it right on top of the frosting. And let's make sure it is centered. So guys, the front of my cake was looking absolutely beautiful. And then, like, I turn it around and I see this. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? But it's okay, all things can be fixed. So you know what I decided to do. Just frost the back of it. It seems kind of difficult because it's standing and I was really scared that the cake would fall down. But as long as you do it softly and slowly, everything will be fine. After I was done covering the back, I did notice that there were some, like, I don't know, flyaway sticking out pieces of frosting on the side. So I'm just gonna smooth those out too. No big deal. Now that she's exactly where we want her, we're gonna get started on our decorations. I was not playing when I said I wanted a black cake. We doing all black everything. So I'm just gonna take some artificial roses and some toothpicks, and I'm going to use it to stick in the bottom of the rose. This way I can easily stick the rose wherever I want to on the cake without any hiccups. And to add just a little sparkle, I'm gonna use a gold congrats cake topper. I know it looks kind of funny because how my camera is, but it says congrats. I already knew that I didn't want the cake topper to just like stick on top of the cake. I want it to be on the front of the cake. So I went ahead and broke off the bottom of the cake topper. And to make it stick, I just used some more black buttercream, and you always want to make sure that you're using the same color frosting as your cake. I noticed that my roses were in 2 different sizes, so you always want to start out decorating with the larger decoration first. Where do I want to stick this? Okay, right there, perfect. Right there, no, maybe a little lower, yep, perfect. Okay, and then for the last one, maybe at the bottom, perfect. Now I'm just going to use the smaller roses to like fill in the gaps and make everything look nice and full. Also, to fill in the cake, I'm going to use some of the black leaves that came with the flowers. And guys, normally I don't put on the cake topper until the very last step of the cake, but since I'm adding flowers to the cake, I needed to know exactly where to place the cake topper so the flowers aren't covering it. Okay, wonderful people, so that's pretty much it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you learned something, because I learned something. I was making it with you. This is my first attempt at making a standing cake, but I'm so glad that I tried it out. They're just so cute. Bye guys, see you next time.